Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching my video on how to sew on a button. Today we're going to go over two different types of buttons. We are going to go over the flat button as well as the shank button. If you would like to watch more how to sew videos or would just like to sew a project once a month, please subscribe to my channel as well as check out my Instagram account for more recent updates. Alright, so let's get started. So what you're going to need to sew on your buttons is you're going to need the garment that you're going to be sewing on the buttons. You're going to need a hand sewing needle. You're obviously going to need your buttons. You're going to need some thread, preferably that matches either the garment or the button. But for this video, I'm going to be using pink so you can see my thread. You're going to need some snips to cut your thread. And these two items here are optional. This here is a thimble. You can use it on your finger to help poke the needle through your fabric. And this here is a needle threader. You can put it through the eye of your needle, slip through the thread, and pull it through. This is if you have a hard time trying to find the eye of the needle and to put your thread through. This will help you out. I'm just going to put these off to the side because I am not going to be using those. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to thread your needle. So we are going to cut off some thread. I prefer to have about an arm's length worth of thread. Snip the thread. And now I am going to thread my needle. So I'm just going to put it through the eye of the needle here, pull it through. So when I'm sewing buttons, I like to double up my thread just so then it's extra strong. So I'm going to pull that thread all the way down so then it matches right at the bottom with the other thread. So now what we're going to do is we are going to tie a knot in our thread. I'm going to show you two different ways. The way that I prefer the most is this way here. So you're going to point your needle and your thread towards each other. You are going to grab the end of your thread at the end of your needle with two fingers. Now what you're going to do is you're going to wrap around your thread around your needle about maybe 3 or 4 times. And you want to make sure that you're still holding it taut. Now the thread that you just wrapped around your needle, you are going to slip it down to the bottom of your needle and pinch it in between your fingers as well. Now what you're going to do is you're going to grab the top of your needle and you are going to keep pinching here and not lose any tension here. And you're going to pull up and you're still going to be pinching it and you're just going to slide it all the way down to the bottom. And now you have a knot at the very end of your thread. This method can take a little while to get to know. So if this isn't the way that you would like to do it, this is the other way. So what you're going to do is you're just going to wrap it around your two fingers and make a knot. And you're just going to slide it close to the bottom of the thread. And you're going to repeat this maybe 2 or 3 times so then the knot is going to be big enough and it's not going to slide right through your fabric. So now that our thread is all ready to go, we are going to sew on the flat button first. So the flat button that I have is a 4-hole button, and the pattern that we are going to sew into the button is going to be an X. So to start off, I am going to put my needle through the back of my fabric. And slide it through. Now I am going to put the needle through one of the holes in the button and slide the button all the way down. So now because we are making an X, what I want to do is I want to put my needle in diagonally across to the other hole in the button. I'm going to poke it through and slide it all the way down. And now I am going to go to the bottom one right here through the other side. And I'm going to go across over to this hole here. And that makes the X. So you want to do this about maybe 3 or 4 times, just so then it is secure. So now that we have done it 3 times and it's fairly secure, we are going to tie the knot on the back. So to tie the knot on the back to finish it off, what I like to do is I like to take my needle and I put it through one of the stitches. I don't go through the fabric, I just go through one of the stitches in the back here. So this is going to make a loop here. What you want to do is you want to take your needle and you want to put it through the back of the loop. And now you're going to pull, and that is going to make a knot. So I like to do this twice just to make sure that the knot is going to stay. Perfect. So now that the knot is all secure, I can snip this off here. And you are all done. Now you know how to sew on a flat button. So the next button that we are going to sew on is a shank button. So this is a button that has no holes on the top, and it has a round piece at the back, which is called a shank. So what we are going to do is we're going to be putting our needle through this back part. So to start this off, what you're going to do is you are going to put your thread through the bottom of your fabric and bring up the needle. And just like the other one, we are going to put the needle through the hole and bring it down. So what you're going to do is you're going to poke a hole in the fabric with your needle very close to the thread that you brought up from the bottom. And you're going to slide it all the way through. So now you're going to bring it back up. And you're going to put it back through the hole and back down underneath through the other side. You're going to do this about maybe 3 or 4 times. Okay, so now that you've done this about 3 or 4 times, the next step that we are going to do is we are going to wrap around the thread. But the trick is that you want your thread to only go around the thread at the very bottom of the shank. You don't want to wrap your thread around the shank here. You want it to be at the very bottom. So we are going to wrap this around about 3 or 4 times. So what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that it's very secure, and it's still going to give it that little lift that it needs. Now we are going to poke the needle back through to the bottom of the fabric. So now we are going to tie a knot just like how I did with the flat button above. So we are going to take our needle and we are going to go through the stitches that we made on the back. And it's going to make this loop right here. And you're going to put your needle through the back of the loop. And you're just going to pull up. And that will give you a knot. I like to do it twice. And we are going to snip off the excess thread. And now you've sewn on your shank button. I really hope you enjoyed this video as well as found it helpful to how to sew on a button. If you did really enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up as well as subscribe to my channel for more how to sew videos. Also, if you would like to stay updated, please check out my Instagram account. I hope you all have a great day. See you soon!